The story begins with ads of advanced AI called simulants, or just Sims, becoming a normal part of life in America. People volunteer to have their faces scanned and put on robots to make them more human-like. Sims start doing various jobs and even become companions, athletes, and law enforcement. But things take a dark turn. In the year 2055, a nuclear warhead explodes in Los Angeles because of AI created by the US government, killing over 1 million people. The military launches a mission to destroy all AI worldwide, but they face resistance from New Asia, who see AI as humans and even keep Sims as equal citizens. The US Army uses a massive space station called the Nomad to scan the grounds for signs of Sims and quickly wipe them out. Their main target is Nirmata, the mastermind behind the advanced AI technology. 10 years later, a group of American soldiers arrive on the New Asian coast, where nestled in a peaceful corner, Joshua lives with his pregnant wife, Maya. Maya possesses a unique tattoo and feels a deeper connection to AI than Joshua, who relies on prosthetic limbs. In the darkness of that night, droid officers led by Harun intrude upon their home, forcefully taking Joshua's friendly American soldier named Drew after they found him sneaking into the area. They beat Drew, trying to force him to talk, but he stays silent, and Nomad is coming closer. The group decides it's time to leave and find a new hideout, so Harun's team rushes to prepare the boats while Maya packs. Alone, Joshua scolds Drew for not giving him more time. It's revealed Joshua is an American soldier on an undercover mission. He married Maya because she's believed to be Nirmata's daughter. As the Sim soldiers meet with the American ones and a gunfight starts outside, Joshua uses Drew's radio to stop the raid because Nirmata isn't there with them. However, Maya overhears, realizing Joshua didn't truly leave the army as he had promised. Their argument is cut short as soldiers arrive, forcefully dragging Joshua away. Maya escapes and joins the Sims on boats, but Nomad fires a missile, killing them all. 5 years later, Joshua struggles to adjust to civilian life in the USA. He takes medication for his PTSD and sees a therapist who uses a lie detector to make sure he doesn't hide information. Working at Ground Zero on the cleaning crew, he and a co-worker find a robot that unexpectedly activates, pleading for mercy. Joshua quickly turns it off, reminding his co-worker they're just machines. Back home, Joshua watches videos of Maya, remembering how she customized his robotic limbs. He lost them and his family when the nuke hit LA. Later, while swimming, he's approached by General Andrews and Colonel Howell, who asks for his help on a mission. General Andrews and Colonel Howell inform Joshua that Nirmata is in New Asia, developing a super weapon to destroy Nomad. They recruit Joshua, revealing Maya is alive and working at the facility. They explain that Joshua's knowledge of the lab's layout is crucial to the mission's success and to reuniting him with Maya. This revelation convinces Joshua to join the mission, not only to help win the war, but also to see his wife again. In the middle of the night, Joshua joins a crew led by Howell, heading towards New Asia. After the Nomad scans the area, the team lands in a field, and Joshua leads them towards the lab, only to discover that a village has been built on top of it. The soldiers decide to invade, interrogating the locals and keeping them at gunpoint. McBride, one of the soldiers, threatens to shoot a child's dog, causing the girl to cry and point at an altar. Joshua realizes the altar is a key, and when he twists a totem, the entrance to the lab is revealed. McBride and Bradbury stay outside as guards, while the rest of the team enters the lab. They encounter technicians and shoot them down. Joshua checks the security cameras and sees Maya should be nearby. Meanwhile, Bradbury sees the police approaching and fires missiles before pretending to surrender. The police try to arrest her, but Bradbury's missiles kill all the Sims instantly. Further into the lab, the team finds a vault that Shipley and Joshua work on hacking, while the others fight incoming guards. As they start losing men, Shipley rushes to help, leaving Joshua alone to finish hacking. When the vault finally opens, Joshua finds only a child watching TV on a couch. Before he can approach her, a woman guarding the child shoots at Joshua. Luckily, his body armor saves him. The girl manages to escape through an emergency door, and the guard instructs her to find Nirmata. The kid comes out of the lab and watches the outside world for the first time, but she also sees lots of fighting in the field. A gunfight erupts between New Asia's forces and nomads. Joshua follows her out and searches for Maya among fleeing scientists but can't find her. The team, admitting defeat, heads back to the plane, aware Nomad might attack soon. Howell and Bradbury stay behind. Howell goes one way while Bradbury heads towards the plane. Bradbury rushes back but gets hit and detonates a bomb on the plane, causing it to crash just before Nomad's bombing, knocking down Joshua. The next morning, Joshua wakes up on a boat and sees the robot girl staring at him. He tries to shoo her away with a rock, but she throws it back. After investigating the area for a while, he finds a wounded Shipley, carries him to safety, and hides in an empty house. Suddenly, they hear a noise and discover the kid has followed them and is now watching TV. Inside, he discovers the girl can control technology with gestures. Joshua realizes she is the superweapon. At that moment, Joshua's communicator rings with a call from Howell, which gets the attention of a farmer Sim nearby. Joshua tells Howell about the kid, and she orders him to kill her, but their conversation is cut off when Howell is arrested by cops, leaving Joshua on his own. In the police van, Howell notices that McBride has also been arrested by Officer Bowie. Back to Joshua. He stops himself from shooting when he sees the child drawing Maya's tattoo and decides not to harm her. Suddenly, the farmer approaches, claiming he wants to protect the girl, but his hand reaches for a weapon. Fearing betrayal, Joshua shoots the farmer, alerting the police. Meanwhile, McBride and Howell team up to kill Bowie and take over the van, turning it around to go looking for Joshua. Joshua asks the child where he can find Maya, and she helps him by telling him that she's in Diandang. Suddenly, the cops surround the house and start shooting, so Joshua quickly takes Shipley and the girl into the farmer's truck. When the police throw a grenade at them, a dog grabs it and takes it outside, causing it to explode and take out all the cops. With the danger gone, the girl uses her power to start the truck, and they escape safely. Sometime later, their vehicle stops midway through the journey. Shipley, badly wounded, points a gun at Joshua to ask for a hospital, but Joshua explains they're too far from an American base and promises to take him to a friend. Sadly, Shipley dies in the truck. At that moment, Joshua notices a car approaching. He hides the child's robotic head and calls her Alfie, based on her ear marking. When the car stops, Joshua approaches the driver and asks for a ride. Luckily, the driver was also heading for the city and agreed to help. Later, McBride and Howell find the abandoned car and Shipley's body. Howell transfers Shipley's consciousness into Bowie's sim body briefly, for 30 seconds. But Shipley panics and dies again after saying Joshua was taking him to see a friend. In the evening, the car is stopped at a checkpoint as authorities have received wanted posters for Joshua and Alfie. Joshua hides, but a cop sees Alfie and asks her to remove her hat. Alfie causes a blackout, then distracts with sparks on a sign, reactivating the car to drive into the city and escape. The escape is broadcasted on police frequency, alerting Howell and McBride. Meanwhile, an officer who shares Bowie's face with the same donor finds the bodies by the road. Later in the city, Joshua tries to get information from Alfie about Diandang, but she remains silent. When the cops arrive, Joshua pulls Alfie onto a train to flee. While escaping, Joshua sees Sims with Maya's face, realizing they're just replicas. Joshua recalls the day Drew gave him the mission to marry Maya, a mission built on a lie. The wedding ring, a symbol of their love, now feels heavy with deceit. A hidden tracker, a constant reminder of his betrayal. During the trip, Alfie asks many existential questions, so Joshua explains that good people go to heaven. He doesn't think he's good enough for it, and Alfie doesn't think she can go either because she isn't a person. In the evening, the duo leaves the train and see their wanted posters all over the city screens. While a citizen notices them and calls the police, Joshua takes Alfie to a sim factory to meet his friend, who turns out to be Drew. They meet him, who now lives with his robot girlfriend Cammy, having changed his views on AI, and join Joshua and Cammy in examining Alfie. They discover Alfie still has not reached her full power yet and could potentially become the most powerful being, able to control any technology remotely from anywhere on Earth. Joshua asks Drew to extract Maya's location from Alfie, but Alfie's information is really hard to figure out. When Joshua suggests tracking Maya's ring instead, Drew says she's dead, but Joshua refuses to accept it. While trying to talk with Alfie, Cammy orders some ice cream for her. However, their conversation is cut short by a knock at the door. Kami checks the door, finding it's just a food delivery. After she closes the door, the delivery guy, who turns out to be the other Bui, is joined by a group of cops. He then activates a bomb inside the food box, killing Kami. New Asian authorities start firing at the group. Cops arrive, but Joshua arrives and fights them off, with Alfie calmly watching TV. He shoots Bui's face and uses a cop's own gun to defeat the Sims, but more police are on the way. He grabs Alfie and a grieving Drew to escape right before the cops arrive. And while the Sims search the building, two cops are revealed to be Howell and McBride. Sometime later, Drew's computer tracks Maya's ring and finds it in Joshua's old home. When they arrive, Joshua finds the ring on the flooded floor. Watching the security recording, Alfie warns him of the approaching soldiers. Joshua, overwhelmed, snaps and yells at her. Alfie starts crying and Joshua finally sees her as a person, so he hugs her as he apologizes. Drew rushes in to warn them of the attack but is shot and killed. Before he dies, he reveals to Joshua that Maya is Nirmata, the reason they were attacked 5 years ago. They weren't allowed to tell Joshua because of his love for her. Joshua tries to run away with Alfie, but they're surrounded by Sim soldiers led by Harun, and Joshua is knocked out. Joshua dreams of meeting Maya at a bar and the story she shared. Her father had taught her about AI, but he had to flee when the war started. Maya was raised by simulants, who cared for her deeply. The next morning, Joshua wakes up locked in a cell on a ship. Harun visits him, explaining that the nuclear bombing in LA was actually a man-made coding error blamed on AI. He reveals that if the Sims win the war, they seek peace with the Western world. Harun also explains how Maya became Nirmata after her father's death, adding that he won't take Joshua to Maya because the army was using Joshua's hope to find Maya. Harun considers killing Joshua, but he's interrupted by some noise outside. Nomad is blowing up their base. Joshua convinces Alfie to help him escape, and he jumps into the sea. Soldiers shoot at the water, thinking Joshua is dead, allowing him to hide under the boat and escape. After the ship reaches a village, Joshua looks for Alfie and sees Sims and humans living together peacefully. People even mourn fallen robots, and a Sim teacher educates children about living in harmony. Later, Joshua waits for Harun to sleep and deactivates a button in his head to put him on standby. He tries to escape with Alfie on a boat, but an alarm signals the arrival of the Americans. Huge tanks destroy buildings and fire missiles, and after seeing this, Alfie leaves Joshua because she wants to help her people. Amidst deaths and destruction, Howell and her forces launch an attack with huge machines and a suicide bomb robot. Alfie manages to stop one bomb robot, but McBride shoots her down. Angered, Joshua jumps in to kill McBride. With Alfie out, the bomb reactivates. Joshua grabs her and flees before the bridge is destroyed. Harun agrees to take Joshua to see Nirmata to repair Alfie, while the others continue fighting. On their journey, Harun reveals that Maya completed Alfie a few days before the attack, using a scan of her embryo, making Alfie a copy of Joshua's dead baby. Alfie is taken by monks to a special temple, and Joshua learns from a monk that Dian Dang means heaven, indicating Maya is deceased. Inside the temple, Joshua finds Alfie next to Maya's body, connected to a machine. Another monk explains Maya has been in this state for 5 years. The machine sustains her body, but she isn't truly alive. The Sims aren't allowed to hurt Nirmata, so it's up to Joshua to finally disconnect her. Crying, Joshua apologizes for everything and looks at his wife once more before pulling the plug himself. At that moment, the Americans arrive and start killing all the Sims in the area. Howell enters the temple, and while keeping Joshua at gunpoint, she begins downloading Maya's consciousness into a chip. Harun appears and shoots Howell, causing 2 other soldiers to shoot him in return. As Howell approaches to check on him, it's revealed she has a bomb on her back that Alfie activates to kill her and both soldiers. As more forces arrive to attack, Harun tells Joshua that Nomad must be destroyed for the war to end. Joshua leaves with Alfie and Maya's chip. On their way out, they're found by the Americans, who separate them before taking them away as Nomad destroys the area. Joshua and Alfie are returned to Los Angeles, where Andrews orders Joshua to kill Alfie since they can't extract information from her. They share a moment, and Joshua whispers something to Alfie, causing her to appear deactivated. Andrews assumes she's dead. Joshua takes Alfie to the incinerator, but she reveals she's fine. Joshua had put her on standby mode. Alfie causes the vehicle to crash, blocking the road. They flee to the spaceport where Alfie manipulates the boarding machine to let them through. They escape on a plane, but Andrews orders the pilot to return. Alfie guides the plane toward Nomad, using her powers to control it. After all, civilians come off the plane and guards enter, but Joshua opens the door, creating a vacuum that ejects the guards into the sky. He then prepares an explosive as Andrews readies a massive attack on all sim bases. When missiles are launched, Joshua gives Maya's chip to Alfie, instructing her to stop the attack while he sets the explosive. Alfie races through corridors until she reaches the right room and uses her power to stop all the missiles just in time. Meanwhile, Joshua installs the bomb set to detonate in 10 minutes. Alfie heads back but takes a wrong turn, discovering a room full of humanoid robot bodies, and finds one of Maya, putting her consciousness inside in an attempt to wake her up and bring her with her and Joshua. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. As few missiles destroy simulant villages, Joshua's suit runs low on oxygen. Alfie finds him and leads him to a room with air, preparing the escape pod. Andrews deploys a giant octopus-like robot that captures Alfie. Joshua shuts down the escape pod, freeing Alfie from the robot's grasp. As Andrews readies another attack, the robot captures Joshua, but Alfie makes it drop him before causing it to fall. The bomb finally detonates, causing Nomad to explode. As Joshua and Alfie struggle with the damaged escape pod, Joshua decides to sacrifice himself, telling Alfie he'll meet her in heaven before releasing the pod. Then Joshua leaves the room to wait for the end, only to find the Maya sim working. They run toward each other and meet with a kiss before the explosion kills them both. Alfie's pod safely lands on Earth, and she joins in the celebration of the simulants, now liberated and free. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos like this. We've got a lot of great content coming your way. Take care and see you again.